Permanent Secretary within the Ministry of Education, Ms. Delma Ned, Chief Planning Officer, Mrs. Evelyn Hamilton, Chief Education Officer, other officers of the Ministry of Education, the various units and departments, students, special invitees, members of the media. Good morning. On behalf of the Ministry of Education and the Minister of Education, Dr. Priya Manikchand, I take this opportunity to welcome you to this very special occasion of the Ministry of Education. Today, the Ministry of Education is making a conscious effort to make the resources of the Ministry of Education and the state available to all Guyanese and the world at large. We are happy that you were able to share this moment with us. Once again, I welcome you to the launch of the Ministry of Education website. During this launch, we will have what we call an audio-visual presentation. Firstly, Mr. Phil Mingo will take us on a wonderful journey of creating the website as he reminisces in a video presentation. Mr. Phil Mingo is the head of the Information Systems Unit. We'll then have a feature presentation, and that presentation will take us through the many benefits of establishing and utilizing the website. Presentation will be done by Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Priya Manikchand, and this will be in the form of a video. The HR department of the Ministry of Education will then take us on a virtual tour of the website by way of a short video compiled by them. We will then have words of gratitude, and this will be expressed by Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Priya Manikchand. The thank you message will be in the form of a video played on the website. After that, we'll open the session for an interactive period, and this will be moderated by Mr. Phil Mingo. And of course, we've saved the best for the last. We will have words of wisdom from Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Samuel Archibald Hinds. I now invite you to stand for the national anthem as we recommit to Guyana.
When we set out to build a website for the Ministry of Education, there are a few broad areas that we really wanted to focus on. The website must be easy to use, it must be clean and not cluttered. It must cater for all the major stakeholders, including parents, teachers, students. It must be fast and reliable. By choosing the right technology is very important. It did not feature on our top priority because technology advances very rapidly and we would want to stay on top of technology as it progresses. So the Ministry of Education's website began with just a few articles, specifically news and some basic sections that basically every website should have. Of course, it was a dynamic website in the design, but because of its information, it's .NET framework. Now with this framework, making even simple changes proved to be time-consuming and would require recompiling the source code every so often. In fact, it also required us taking the website temporarily offline. But that was a technology available to us at that time. We finally decided to switch to an open source platform. This was done considering our budget at the time and the complexity of the task which we had to accomplish. Joomla is the open source web platform that we've selected, and it is a content management system which allows the user to focus more on the content and not necessarily on the technology, which allows us to update the content of the website without affecting the structure. Hence, we do not have to put the website offline just to make some simple news updates and so on. Having studied Joomla, and at that time 1.6, version 1.6, we realized that it can help us to cut down on our time in developing various modules and components for the website. And with the introduction of version 1.7 came enhanced security features and better templating. And from there, we never looked back. Joomla has tremendously matured. It has allowed us to accomplish pretty much anything we need to accomplish on the website. For example, if we need components like image gallery, maps, document management, website backup and restore, enhanced security templating, web caching, all of that we were able to either purchase or develop ourselves with the use of Joomla. While we hadn't officially launched the website, word spread about the ministry's website and its Facebook page very rapidly. And then we realized that people were not only interested in news articles and what the ministry is doing, but they wanted past papers, they wanted curriculum guides, they wanted to know about the policies of the ministry, circulars, information about the schools, etc. As the demand increased, we realized that our hosting package at that time was unable to handle the increased load. So of course the website began to crash, and then it crashed more and more often. Of course this became very embarrassing for us. But many of the times, these crashes would happen in the evening when the demand would have increased. It also gave us an opportunity to fix it before the next morning. Of course, that meant many sleepless nights working. But the minister insisted that everything we do must be accessible on the same site. Of course, understandably, because we don't want to give in the public another URL to access the chat platform. So we had to figure out a way how to do it. The most recent facility on our website is a brand new platform which allows the general public to view an extensive amount of quizzes. This quiz platform will allow persons, teachers, students to prepare for various exams within the ministry, in addition to just learning new topics. It's something that we are quite excited about. Essentially, our quiz platform will be an integral part of a greater knowledge management system being developed within the Ministry of Education. And we were really excited to be a part of the hard work pushed into developing the site. The site caters not only for teachers, but also the parents, the students, and other stakeholders that may be interested in, let's say, policies or statistics from the ministry. The Ministry of Education's website is a fantastic website.
Hello everyone. Guyana functions in a modern world where information and communication technologies play critical roles in our communication processes. The Ministry of Education is cognizant of this and is pleased to be a part of this progressive march of technology. With all secondary schools projected to have computer labs before the end of 2014, with more than 90,000 Guyanese families targeted to benefit from the One Laptop per Family initiative, with more access to and use of smartphones, this website is going to be highly useful for all education stakeholders, our parents, our teachers, our students, all citizens as a whole. The Ministry of Education has some of the most beautiful policies and programs and resources. Our challenge has been in making these known to the people who should use them and in implementing them effectively. Even as we make significant and strong efforts to strengthen implementation of our policies, we're making real efforts to make our material and personnel more accessible. We have a strong presence on social media, Facebook and Twitter. We've established hotlines, and today we launch this website. This website will contain all of our policies and textbooks, all of our past examination papers and curriculum guides, and more. I am particularly excited about the interactive nature of this site. It's going to allow our teachers to share information and best practices and what works in the classroom. It's going to allow the citizens of Guyana to speak to education officials, including the Minister of Education, through our chat sites. It's going to allow us to allow our children to take quizzes and tests that we could mark and return to them through email accounts. This new website is in line with the ministry's efforts to meet the needs of the modern, dynamic, global and local environment in which Guyana's education system operates. We want to be more accessible to parents and teachers and students and to every citizen. This is our aim. This is our effort. We invite you to avail yourself of the benefits of this website.
Welcome to the Guyana's Ministry of Education website. This online portal is your ultimate destination for all things pertaining to the Guyanese education system, and it provides multiple education solutions to parents, teachers, and students. On our homepage, you will notice a variety of important links on the left side of the page, like frequently asked questions, answers to parliamentary questions, announcements, school placement sections, along with a number of other essential links. In the center, you will see links to education news, parenting tips, blog, and even one that shows how many visitors are on the site at any given time. You will have information on what is currently happening in education, the most recent documents uploaded to the site, as well as links to our Facebook page. Let's commence this short tour of our website by clicking the About tab on the horizontal menu bar at the top of the home page. This connection produces links to all departments within the Ministry of Education. By simply clicking on any one of the links, you will be taken to a page that provides all the relevant information concerning the link's heading. By placing the cursor over the Parents tab, you will notice a number of links to essential resources for parents of any child within any of the stages of the school system. For example, by clicking on the Nursery School Resources link, you will notice it takes you to a number of education solutions for parents of nursery-age children. There you will find nursery coloring packets, nursery textbooks, nursery curriculum guides, and a number of other nursery-related documents, all of which are downloadable. The Primary School Resources link will take you to the past papers from grades 2, 4, and 6. You will also be granted access to soft copies of the primary textbooks, primary curriculum guides, literary standards, and a number of other important materials. Again, all downloadable. The secondary school resources link will take you to the current grade 9 projects and others from past years. Microscience lab manuals, secondary school textbooks, secondary school curriculum guides, along with the current student-based assessment SBA schedule can also be found by clicking on the secondary school resources link. Going back to the Parents tab, you will observe that you can also access the current CSEC and CAPE syllabuses. There are also a number of useful parenting tips to help parents help their children along their journey through school. The Teachers tab reveals much of the same information as the Parents tab. You will note that it also produces links to the nursery, primary, and secondary schools resources. The nursery, primary, and secondary schools resources links provide the same information it does for parents. There is, however, some additional links to some nursery project documents that teachers may find worthwhile. The Students tab will reveal links to nursery, primary, and secondary school materials, as well as the current syllabuses for both CSEC and CAPE. Clicking the nursery link will take you to a very interactive page designed specifically for nursery-age children. You will be able to access a number of interactive educational videos, as well as coloring materials that parents, teachers, and students can all utilize together. The primary link remains the same for students with access to past papers from grades 2, 4, and 6. You will also be granted access to soft copies of primary textbooks, primary curriculum guides, literary standards, and a number of other important materials. Again, all downloadable. The secondary links take you to the current grade 9 projects and others from past years. Microscience lab manuals, secondary textbooks, secondary school curriculum guides, along with the current student-based assessment schedule can also be found by clicking the secondary school resources link. There are also a variety of quizzes. The other tabs that complete the horizontal menu bar are as follows: Media, Downloads, Gallery, Blog, and Let's Chat. The Media tab provides access to our press releases and other education news items. Downloads allow persons to access and download policy documents, past papers, curriculum guides, and any other pertinent information that is available. Gallery, of course, highlights pictures from various events. Our education block space allows for discussion among peers within the education system as they exchange relevant information beneficial to the sector. Let's Chat is a portal we create to further facilitate wider public consultations on issues of importance to the sector. Let's Chat functions in this manner. A topic is framed and the public can sign into our chat room and chat directly with either the Honorable Minister or other senior officers of the Ministry of Education at a given time. Take your time and go through the site and familiarize yourself with the vast amount of pertinent information we have there for you. This is the new and improved Ministry of Education Guyana website.
I want to specifically thank all the heads of departments and senior officers who submitted information and content for this website. I want to specifically thank Phil Mingo and his staff and the persons who helped voluntarily or otherwise to put the content up on this website. I want to thank sincerely the MISU department who tediously worked on this site to bring it to fruition today. I thank too Sue Finley, or PR representative, and Richard Francois, our communications specialist. I thank Harry Gill for being very interested in this process all along, and and I also thank PS Delmanet, who has been a measure of support and strength in seeing this come to fruition. Mrs. Evelyn Hamilton, who has also been instrumental in helping to guide the MISU. I want to specifically thank Allied Arts, the Allied Arts Department, Dr. Sita Roth, who were very instrumental in the presentation of today's event, and as you can see, it was a wonderful presentation. Well, I do want to say that even though we have uploaded information and we have tested much of this, we expect that when this website is used, that members of the public are going to see things that we could change, that we could make better, that we could strengthen. We invite you to make those comments where you see a page repeated twice, or a page numbered incorrectly, or where you know there's information that we have that is not on the site. Please do not hesitate to let us know. We would fully appreciate that. I thank every person who has been instrumental in getting this website to this place. I invite all persons of influence, media or otherwise, to help us share the news about this website, because it is going to be hugely beneficial to all who use it. Thank you all.
I know that we probably have some comments and maybe concerns. I now invite Mr. Filmingo to moderate this session. Mr. Filmingo.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Prime Minister, Minister Ifanali, Minister Manik Chan, other guests, senior staff, Minister Ramsaran, I'm sorry, didn't see. Good morning again. We're just going to take you through a very short, what we'll call demonstration, but they normally say the truth in the pie is in the eating. So we encourage actually to get on the website in your time and explore it. What we're going to look at right now is a part of the quiz platform that we were speaking about earlier. And this is basically the layout of the quiz. Over here you'll see what we call the popular tags. That means the various subject areas that the quiz actually have. At the moment, our quiz has sources from Khan Academy, Quizlet, and our own Ministry of Education past papers. What you're seeing right now is from the past papers. I'll ask Imran to just click on the sample quiz. This is what a person who is interested in taking a quiz will do. They'll basically come on the site, click on the quiz. It will give you basic instructions and you can continue. After it's loaded, it will basically tell you click on the continue. All right. Right. It's going to tell you the amount of time that is for this quiz. Well, this quiz is a simple one, just 5 minutes, but we're not going to do that quiz in 5 minutes, right? So the time over here, and it says, what is the sum of 5 times 5? 5 plus 5, right? And of course, we know the answer is 10, but we'll put 55 for now. All right? We go down, we say, if Shawnette, scroll up a bit, please. If Shawnette has 20 mangoes and buys 15 more mangoes, how many mangoes does she have in total? 20 plus 17 is, anybody? 20 plus 17? 37, right. Scroll up. All right. Let's just assume that, where are we? Right. Let's just assume we don't want to spend time figuring this out. We'll just put the answers. Anything? 1, perhaps? Yeah. Half and a half is 1, right. So actually I'm correct. Half of the right. 12 multiplied by 5 is 60, but we'll just put anything. And 20 divided by 4, well, we know the answer. It is 5. We'll put the correct thing. Good. Quiz is finished. We click on finish. And your results should come up. It should tell you, scroll along a bit. Now, it gives back the same question, right? If your answer was correct, it says it's correct. If it was wrong, it will tell you it is wrong and why it is wrong. What is the correct answer, right? So actually, don't bother to go through, but we know some of our answers were incorrect. Please scroll down. And if you can see, how much is this? 60%? Right. Right, so considering all things equal, we pass, right? Good, so, but of course, this is just, you could click to the home, click to home. Right, this is just a sample quiz. Our children will have quizzes from mathematics, social studies, sciences, English, right? And as we have more past papers, as we have more, right now it's only up to grade 6, but we hope to increase that to grade 7, 8, and so on, right? There is another tab there, Imran. It goes to Quizlet. No, don't click on that one. Just switch over to the other tab. I think it's Alt. Oh. Yeah, another tab is open. All right, click on Quizlet. Now, let's click on algebra. What Quizlet allows our student to do now, it's more interactive than the quiz that we just saw. Click on any one of them. They have various, what we call flashcards, that they can understand the concept first. So if the quiz is going to teach you about, or question you about 6 plus 5, it's actually going to tell you what 6 plus 5 is, right? So that when you actually go through, you will understand why it is.
1 less than the quotient of the number n and 6.
This one says, and it's all, it has audio, as you would have heard just now, 12 more than 5 times C. This is what, algebra grade 7. Good. Click to flip. Right, and it is actually saying it is 5C plus 12. And we can continue to the next one. Good. Assuming we would have gone through all of them, let's click on Learn. Right, and so they ask you some questions, right? And you actually have to put in the answer. Anybody wants to try? Let's go to Scatter. Start game. Right, now, what is supposed to happen is that based on what you would have learned, right, 5C plus 12 is what? Is it a real rational? I'm not sure what this is, right? Is it 5? We actually know it's this one, right? Yes? Right. So Imran just drag this to Kurova. Click on it, drag it, and leave it. Right, and it disappears, right? So basically what happens is that once you can drag the correct answer, right, or the expression over the answer, you basically would have gotten that correct. Go to Speller. All right, we won't bother with spell test. And test says basically, right, it's down here, the 5C plus. So the child is expected to write back the same thing that they would have learned in the flashcards, right? Let's go to Space Race. Now the instruction is destroy the scrolling words, Click on it. So the words are there, and as you type in the answer at the bottom, which you can't see the screen at the bottom there, this would disappear if it's the correct answer. So we're basically testing our students, but we're using different ways to test the same thing. So, you know, many persons will have different ways of learning a concept, and these Quizlet quizzes will allow them to do that. Let's go to Khan Academy. Right. Now, this is especially for persons like myself who learn better audiovisual. Click on Mathematics. there are a number of videos in this section of the platform, which, let's go to pre-algebra, which the persons will be able to learn. Now, of course, there's a whole list, and the title of it is over here. So one easy one is ordering negative numbers, right? That means -5, then -4, then -3, and so on. And in this video, Khan will actually demonstrate, just like a teacher, you could click play, right? Exactly how the concept should be learned, right? He's actually going to teach.
I've got 5 numbers here, and the goal is to order them from least to greatest.
Pause.
And it might be obvious.
Right. So 5 numbers, and we're talking about ordering negative numbers, right? Of course, you know right away that this -40 should be on the left side, right? So what we're hoping is that our students and even our teachers will send our students onto the website, right? And they'll be able to learn concepts. Now, the good thing about it is that they don't have to go on Google and search where to learn this, where to learn that, maybe panning through all the inappropriate videos, right? They're just going to come here, and whatever whenever a student is on this site, you can be sure that it's a site where the entire family can go on, right? And you don't have to think, oh, this is too, you know, this, it's for a particular age and stuff like that. All right, just go on the homepage for QuizMe. Right, so this is the homepage of the quiz platform, and scroll up. At the moment, it advertises the different. What we're also going to allow is that we know that we don't know it all, right? And put 2 heads together is better than 1. Exactly. So we're going to allow our teachers, if they have content that they like to share, as the minister would have alluded to just a couple of minutes ago, right? They're going to share it with us. And of course, we'll have our team, not MISU, but we have perhaps the NSART people look through it, certify, and then we put it on our website, right? Now, as I said earlier, there's so much things to see on our website, and really, I can't stand here and to tell you about all of it, but we encourage you to go through it, right? Education.gov.gy, and experience it for yourself. Thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister Samuel Hinds has walked with us in the ministry over the years as we strive for excellence. My colleagues in the Ministry of Education would remember every time we had a function, as long as he was invited, he was present. Today, he's gracing us in the capacity of Acting President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Join me as I welcome him for brief remarks.
Thank you very much, my colleagues, my cabinet colleagues, Minister of Education, Minister of Housing and Water, or Minister of Health, and our workers in the Ministry of Education, the many officers who, I wouldn't say slave, who work steadily to improve the education of our young people, and maybe old people too, like myself. And I see some young students from the high school. I don't see any blue hairstyle, which is, of course, the best house that there was. But I'm exceedingly pleased to be here this morning to witness the launch of the Education Ministry's new and improved website. I particularly am pleased to see that we are making beneficial use of these technologies that are more and more available to us, and in particular, new ways maybe of teaching and imparting to our young and our older people. This morning I feel somewhat like I felt at the launch a few evenings ago of the Guyana Center for the name slips me now, our new forensic laboratory. It comes after some years of work and study and application. Quite often we see launches like this, and we don't see the often many years of work that goes behind it. As I think of our Ministry of Education and where it is now, I can't help but recall in my mind that each year we've been contributing something about 14% of the revenues that we collect from us, the people of Guyana. Out of the revenues we collect, we contribute, I think, something like 14% towards education, because we think that education is very important in making people who are more capable, who could be more productive technically, and so contribute to the rise in the levels of standard of living in Guyana. We also look towards people becoming better persons and better citizens, having maybe greater access to the wide experience of mankind, his history, what he thinks about, and what moves him. So I'm particularly pleased about this. It takes me back to my old school days a long, long time ago, and just to indicate how sometimes an idea takes a long time to really come to full fruition. I recall that our prof in process engineering used to be much on call, and therefore he would be visiting around. And even at that time in 1960s, mid-60s, I think the very first days of video recordings or whatever, there were some attempts to have him make have his courses videoed, so that when he's out at some conference, you could still go to the class and see a video of him. So that was a long time ago, but today we have much better equipment and facilities, and also this program ties in, as Minister said, with our One Laptop per Family program. It ties in with the backbone that we're putting across the coast, and with a link to the lithium and into the system in the Brazil side. So there are a number of things that have been coming together, and over the years it has been taking investment, and we have had to be persisting to come to the days that we are here at this time. I recall too, when we came in the government and in the Ministry of Education in particular, in spending time in redesigning that first program we met to improve primary education, which I think focused at that time on maybe 20 or so schools, pretty good leading schools, and we changed it around so that we could bring something to every one of our 400 or so schools at the time. It may have been disappointing to some, but to those who were maybe disappointing then, I hope that you could see today we have gotten to where we were being aimed to be then, and we're getting even further along. We tend to want to focus broadly and building soundly. And at times that may appear to be that we are not recognizing excellence. Sometimes in the past it may have appeared that we are not sufficiently cognizant of what it means, what it requires to be excellent. But we've been focusing on building out broadly and taking our country forward as across a broad base as we could, and also thinking of sustaining what we could sustain and continue. If I'm given a few more minutes, I would comment on something that's been in the papers. It caught my mind. And I think I see there's some response. There was a reasonable commentary between, say, the experience of Guyana from the 1960s compared with Singapore, and a lot of the facts there are relatively true. But I think some of the points that I wanted to say too for us is that I recall too, in the 1980s, the Singaporeans had a slogan, and it said, "Let us provide the world a German quality workforce," with the assumption that German quality workforce is about the best products in particular, but services too. But let us do it at, I think they said, 2/3 of the price. That was one of the slogans they had in the 80s as they built themselves up. And I would like those who have been advocating and putting forward this comparison, that they should speak to those things too, that we maybe now need to aspire to provide the world with a Singaporean quality workforce, whether it is in production, productivity issues, quality issues, aptness in design, and so on, and services. And we would produce it at maybe half the cost of the Singaporeans are doing. It would be a big improvement because if you remember the numbers, we're now at 3,000 and they're at 54,000. So even if we move from 3 to 27, we didn't get all the way to 54, but 3 to 27 is a good movement. But I want to say that because we would improve to the extent that we make our production and productivity and our qualities and all those things much better. Each one of us and all of us working together have to improve the quantity and quality and timeliness of our production. And I would like to encourage us, I know we tend to be, our history has put us in a way where we feel if we do this thing, we have to get the best price that the best person in the world gets right away. But I'd like to encourage the view following a recognized group of people that have developed rapidly that we can defer. We can defer and gain ground, gain acceptance. Another slogan that was around in that part of the world was prosper thy neighbor, work to prosper your neighbor. And I would like to advocate it. Prosper thy neighbor, work to prosper thy neighbor. I'd like to advocate it. So I'd like to bring to you these two additional things that were happening whenever we refer, or anyone refers to that article comparing Singapore and Guyana, that these were, in my view, two important slogans and ideas that were promulgated and I think permeated the society at the same time. So we have, as a government, been collecting revenues. Lots of people complain, we come to collecting too much revenue. The same people want more things from government at the same time. You have to strike a balance. We think we've been doing a good balance. And we've been utilizing it in education in particular. And whilst we might have stepped back initially in many areas, foreign affairs was another one, and in education, whilst we might have stepped back initially, we stepped back to build soundly and broadly, and then to move forward in a more sustainable way. I want to encourage all of us here to personally promote the new website to our friends and family and relatives so that we could get the greatest benefit from it. I want to commend the minister and all the persons in the Ministry of Education again and wish that together we would make the kind of country that we have long aspired for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our formal session is now over. I think this is the time, this is the opportunity for photo shoot. And so I welcome you. Thank you so much. Do enjoy the rest of the program.
The Guyana Learning Channel, taking education to all corners of Guyana.